thinking? Yeah. What are you thinking? Yeah. If you wanna know my thoughts, open your ears when I talk. Yeah. What are you thinking? Hey. What are you thinking? Hey. If you wanna know my thoughts, open your ears when I talk. Yeah.
Welcome back to another edition of the Arnold's Thoughts Podcast. It is your boy Arnold Lewis, if you are checking in for the first time. And here we talk about overseas basketball every single day. I'm dropping information about the game, how you can mentally get your game and play this game of overseas basketball and maximize and fully get everything out of it possible. So, to get into it first, like, subscribe, and just tune in, man. We just talk about the game every single day. A couple of topics today. Today's topic I want to talk about for sure, one thing is the Brittney Griner situation. She just literally dropped a statement saying that she would never go overseas and play overseas basketball again. That is ironic, but not ironic if you play the game. If you play the game, then you know yourself what that means to say that I'm never going back over here to play overseas basketball again. It's not no joke. It's not sweet. I wish it was sweet. You got Brittney Griner is a star. Women's basketball, she's kind of just made herself into now she's literally a mogul or a celebrity around the world right now because of the whole situation with her and Russia, and she getting caught with the weed, and that was her situation. And that one situation changed everything for her whole perspective. And it's ironic that I have my mentor, she was my business mentor, and she's always sending me things pertaining to overseas basketball and things of that nature. And I was just reading an article on women going overseas and trying to make money, because you know in the WNBA it's only 4 months, so most of the women make their money overseas. Now pre-COVID, women kind of topped out and made a lot of money in Russia, and in China was definitely one of the top markets, and Italy was up there as far as making money for women's and overseas basketball. But those are like the WNBA stars. I think Diana Taurasi was like the only one who was making some real paper, which was like, what's up guys? I just dropped my new ebook, 6 must-have steps to be an overseas basketball player. You know, I've been playing for the last 9 years. I got all the steps and the traits that you need to start your journey with networking, with getting a mentor, all the things that you need to start your journey to be a protege. So go get that ebook, click the link in the bio, and make sure you get your steps to being that overseas pro one day. Let's go. 1.5 million in like Russia, but that was before all this other stuff started happening. The war and all that other stuff was going on. So women making money overseas really isn't a big thing. Like they make more money overseas compared to making money in the WNBA. The money that they make in the WNBA, I think, capped out at $250,000. At $250,000 with most, it's like they couldn't get no more than that. But now there's a new agreement. Now they can get up to like 700,000 in endorsements. So they're trying to bring more money to the league so women basketball players can have more money, so it could be more aware and people can start pouring into women's basketball so they can stay in their country. But most women hoopers who are good, they go overseas to get paid because they get paid more. And it's a longer time. You can't just be 4 months of playing and then that's your salary for the year. You're not going to sustain that. You're not going to be able to sustain that. And women hoopers are just like us. We have families. We got a life we're trying to live. We're trying to live out here. So we need that money. And it's interesting that her, because I'm pretty sure regardless of anything, she could still go overseas and make a lot more money than she makes in America. That's why she was going overseas in the first place, because she was making so much more money in overseas than she was in America. But everybody knows the situation that just passed. If you don't, I'll give you a brief summary of the situation that happened with her. She got caught with some weed in the weed cartridge and then was jailed for like 8 months, 9 months she was in jail. And we haven't heard, they had did a, as I was saying, she is a WNBA star. So she had a lot of publicity around it and what they're going to do. And I guess America came up with a trade deal to get like one of their murderers from Russia and trade it for her. And they ended up releasing her. So now she's back in the States. This happened months ago. But she is now deciding that she's not going to play overseas anymore. She's not going to go play overseas anymore. So that's her decision. I totally understand it 100% because once you get in a traumatic situation like that, where you're jailed for 9 months in Russia, you got to think about that. Jailed for 9 months in Russia, that is not an easy feat. Being jailed for 9 months. And she's probably like, I'm not doing that. I'm not putting myself in that position anymore because if I leave my country, like, she's on a different stage and everything, but you got to think about the average hooper. We all have hoop dreams, male and female. We all have hoop dreams. So we can't just take it lightly that we still need this money out here. We all searching to get this money out here. Playing the game we love and getting compensated for the work that we put in because we are far and we are few who can develop our craft well enough to earn a salary from it. So we should be compensated for the work that we put in, for the time that we put in, because we are pros and we are professionals, and that's male and female. But these situations do happen. You will, I know several occasions, 3-4 players, I won't name them. Brittany is the only one that's popped up because hers was so in the limelight. But average players, people overseas, you don't hear about their stories being jailed. I know a guy who was in China, jailed for 4 years before he even got his trial date. 4 years. They had him locked up for 4 years. Different country, different laws, different ratio of how you look at it. Especially, okay, now I'm talking to my bros, my sis, like African American hoopers, like my black people. Listen, you know we got a target on our back every single place we go. And if we think it's bad in America and other places, it's even worse. They look at, because of where we're so prevalent at in our own country, especially for us like Americans, especially American and black, you're like the worst of the worst. And so it's like you're the worst of the worst or you're the best of the best of how they look at you and want to treat you. They're going to love you and hate you at the same time. If they're going to think about it. She's probably making all that money over there in Russia, but one little thing, you telling me they're not smoking weed in Russia? 100%. 100%. And for a weed cartridge, you get 9 months? Stop it. Stop it. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but it is what it is. Once you get over here long enough, you start seeing it is for what it is. You don't let it affect you. You just keep pushing and go and know what you're over there for. You know? Just know what you're over there for. You're over there to get this check, to get this money, to play, to enjoy your life. Hey, if you smoke, there's countries, Uruguay, it's illegal. Go to places where you can do that. Understand situations that you're getting into before you get into them, because it doesn't really matter sometimes. Like you can get what you want, but just know where to go to get those things. And I want to read the article. I want to like paraphrase. She said, "I'm never going overseas to play again unless I'm representing my country in the Olympics." She's traumatized. She is traumatized. You hear me? And I don't blame her for being traumatized. I do not blame her for being traumatized because that's a traumatic situation. She said the whole reason a lot of us go overseas is the pay gap, meaning in America, the pay gap from the WNBA. A lot of us go over there to make an income to support our families. I don't knock any player that wants to go overseas. That means that she knows that you need that money. And if you want to do it as a professional, especially as a female, you got to get in the right leagues, and you can't. I guess people who don't know about like WNBA and women's basketball, they don't really, because it's starting to get more popular with newer, like the whole, what's the girl from LSU, that whole situation in the national championship game. Those type of stuff that just happened bring more light into women's basketball. But let's keep it a buck. Women's basketball is just not limelighted. Unless you're in the sport, you really wouldn't understand how good some of these girls are when they're playing. Like, they are amazing, but the light is not being shown on them. So with these situations, these help. But it's going to be a while before we get to that point where it's just like the average player can go overseas and get $7 grand a month on a 9-month. Like, it's not happening just like that. That's a good paying. You getting 5. You know, that's tough. I know guys that can't get $5K a month playing overseas basketball 5-6 years in for multiple seasons. You might catch it for one league, but 5 years in a row, you're getting at least $5,000 a month for an extended period of 7 months. Think about it. The average season is about 6 to 8 months. So 7 right in the middle, and you're getting 5. That's $45K a month because you're not working those other things. Maybe in your earlier years, you'll probably get about another job. So sometimes if you're really out there and you're playing well enough, you can catch about 10 months in a season. It's time. Depending on you going, you can get 2 seasons in. 10 months you can get in a year. So you're always going to have about 2 months off. And you're making 5, that's $50K a month. Making $50K a month successfully for 5 years straight. It's unheard of. I'm telling you, it's unheard of. It's tough. Is it possible? Yes. If you know how to navigate, if you know how the markets are, if you put it, it's a lot of factors that goes into it. Some people think that my bag just increased just because I say it should increase. And you think that every season, every place you go to, you're going to get the same money every single time. Now, there are guys, don't get me twisted, there are guys who are making that paper consistently. But the majority of guys, it's not happening like that. You have to work and really be strategic about the way that you move to get that. That's male and female. You got to know where you're going. What does this team lead to? Who do they go to next? Who can I go to next? That's probably going to pay me this money. Can I establish a relationship with this team that will pay me this money for 2 years in a row? Most guys sign 2-year deals. They maybe get 3 years, leave, come back because they love the team. But just say 3 years, 6K. You want to get somewhere you at least getting a 3-year, 6K a month in about an 8-month season. You're clearing about 50. Go play somewhere else for another 15. We're talking about 65. If you get to where you're making 70 a year from playing basketball, 10 months out of the year, you're winning. You hear me? You're winning. Consistently 70 grand a year. If you don't understand how hard it is for players to get to that level, I'm telling you, consistent. That's the key thing. Some guys they'll hit a real quick lick. Because there's so much that goes into it that I want you guys to understand that you may not, like, people don't put into perspective. Yes, I made the money, but guys who don't have money management skills, and majority of us basketball players I don't know if it's, I was just talking to my best friend. I was talking to Deuce from the Tap Athletics show. Make sure you guys go and tap in with Tap Athletics 22. Shout out to Deuce, my homeboy, my best friend from college. Grammy and T all day. But we were literally just talking about finances. And that is such an important aspect when it comes to not only just basketball, but your life as well. And if you don't have the right financial education, financial literacy, like it has to be more than just basketball. You have to have the financial literacy to be able to sustain the money that you're getting. If you get paid $15,000 for 5 months, that's 60 bands. And then turn around and go make 6 for another, and you don't have any financial literacy, you're gonna think this always comes back. So I can't tell you how many times I've seen players, including myself, go make some money, have a good season, hey, win a championship, and go blow the bag. Cause I'm finna blow a bag, I'm gonna get it right back. I'm gonna go blow this, or I'm gonna have me a good time. I come off of summer. I think about I was doing this with hardly any money. Oh, I'm finna go hit the Bahamas up, hit the resort up, have me a good time. I'm not saying it's not, you shouldn't have, but it's just a constant theme of the same thing. And it's like you're gonna drop at least a quick 5, 6 just on your vacation to come back home to celebrate what I've done. Some of the guys not even winning championships out here and they're coming back home celebrating. Come on, bro. We got to get out of that mindset. What are you stacking on? Just like you got to be consistent in your game, you got to be consistent in your finances. Being financially literate before you step overseas is so important. Because first of all, you're dealing with different currencies. One of the article that I read for one of the players that was playing, she said she was playing in one country. I think it was in the Middle East, in Turkey or something. And then she said, I spent $15 on groceries and I got like a whole house full, or I got a lot of groceries for $15, but went to a different country and the same amount of groceries that I got cost me $60 that I was getting for $15. So probably you're getting the same amount of money but in a different country, but then in the economics and the financials are different and the prices are different in different countries, but you're getting paid the same salary. So how does that tie into your savings? So, hey, yeah, I'm probably getting the same amount of money, but now my finances just went up or my expenses just went up. Knowing what country you're going into next, knowing you're going to live. You're going to spend money. You're going to go out. You're going to live. You're going to enjoy yourself. You're going to live. But some countries, it'll be at a higher expense than others. This episode of Arnold's Thoughts Podcast was brought to you by Bold Claims Apparel. Bold Claims. It's not just a statement, it's a lifestyle. Make sure you check the link in the bio and shop all of our latest apparel today. Back to the episode. So you have to factor that in, but it's so hard sometimes because you don't pay attention to it because you're just out here living and I'm getting paid and I'm getting this tax-free money and then I'm probably getting food. So all the extra money you think I'm saving, I'm winning, but I'm using that to parlay and go out to eat and probably go give me some extra groceries and this, that, and the third. But this country's more expensive than the next country that I was just in. So the money's not adding up and I'm spending at a higher rate without even understanding that. So if I may have saved, you might go from spending an extra $600 to $16 a stack more than you did just by changing countries. Playing in a different country, playing in a different league. Especially in the Europe area because they got so many different countries all bundled up. That's different money. That's different tax brackets. That's different expenses that you don't even think about. Playing in the Middle East, playing in China, playing in South America. Got to look up what the economic status is in these countries and how much things are for just everyday life as well. What are they paying? How much they get paid? What's their economic status like? Because if you don't even take time to look at their economic status, like, let me just see. Because they'd be like, okay, well, some of these teams have money, and then halfway through the season, we ain't got no money to pay. that happens a lot. You better believe. And you go take just one look at Google, well, their economics and their finances, everything's just tanking. Their country's just going down. Like, there's so much more to the game. I understand where she's coming from. It's something that we have to make sure that we take into as a concept, and we make sure that we're accurately doing our research. The more research that you do before you start, that's with anything in life. The more research that you start off by doing in the first place to get there, before you even get to any country, you'll be better equipped. You'll just be better equipped. And I remember I took a class, and it was just on finances, and it's all about mindset. And it's like, we trying to tell, like as of right now, I'm trying to tell people that, you know what, you should go and make sure you do your research, and you make sure that you look at the economics. Is most 99.8% of people probably aren't going to do that. I probably know about 2 people that will probably do something like that. So it's really dependent on what kind of person you have to be to even become an overseas basketball player. See what I'm saying? So much about finances and all these type of things, all that is turning into a different type of person. That's a mindset that you must attain in this journey of life before you even get to this stage of where you want to play basketball and you want to live overseas and you want to go through all these good and bad situations that are going to happen. You're going to have a great time and you're going to have horrible times. That's life in general. But at least you get to control your destination, your destiny, and what you want out of it. And it's all depending on the knowledge that you obtained before. It depends on the person you decide to be. Like I say, most of us, black basketball players, don't really got good money management skills. I did not have it. I look at my friends right now who are making a lot of money and they spend it on a lot of dumb stuff. And they're not managing their money well. And it's always, I lose it all and I get it right back. That's where making from 20 to 30,000 to 50,000 to one of my friends say, I remember one season I made 150,000 over 9 months. And I was going back to that team 2 months later. When I looked at my account, I had 20 bands in there. How? Where does it all go if we don't turn ourselves into the person that is knowledgeable about every aspect of our lives, and especially our finances? Because everybody's looking for the big bag to get you there. One of the greatest gifts about overseas basketball is the free time that you get. That free time, like right now, I'm right here, I'm recording. I took my free time to understand what I wanted, and I'm using it right now to make this podcast, to build this business of being the #1 overseas informative on mental aspects of podcasts. Still working on it, as you can see. Mental aspect of overseas basketball, I'm your guy. Because this game is more than 80%, it's all mental to me. It's all mental. Everything is just the mentality that you bring into it. And I want to be the #1 specialist when it comes to overseas basketball mentality. There it is. Hey, man, I told you I'm still working on it. That's what I'm using the time for, to learn and grow and teach what I've learned from my little bit of time playing, because it's better to have somebody that's actually saying something than no one that's not saying anything. We live in an age where everybody can give us some kind of gems or nothing if you're willing to search for it. That just turns back into what I was saying about, are you willing to put the work in for yourself to become the person? To be an overseas basketball player, you got to be more than just a basketball player. There's overseas in front of that. That means you have to understand the life of overseas and understand the life of different countries and this world, because you're going away from what you know and what's common to you. You're going overseas basketball, professional basketball player. Overseas first. Understand what that really means. Understand that is a different life. That is a different country. That is a different culture. That is a different economic system. That's different laws. There's different rules. There's different people. Understanding that. But it just ties into becoming into the person. How do you become to the person? What are we doing to become the person? What are we doing to become the person that is able to be an overseas basketball player? We're going to get into that. And I've made, I don't know if you guys follow me, you know I have my other personal page. And on that page, I talk a lot. I do a lot of basketball clips, and it's a basketball page. It's my brand page. It's my 3-4 page. I'll put it on the screen if people who see this one and don't know that my personal page. But it's 34 THR number 3E4 for 34. My number. Everywhere I play basketball, 34 has been my number. From Paul Pierce, was my favorite player. Mid-range game all day. You already know, mid-range master. Anyways, I came up with this segment is like things I wish that I knew playing overseas basketball. The things I wish I knew, right? And I did like a segment, and I wanted to go over some of the things because I posted it and then some people might not really understand. And I just wanted to get into it and break those down. So I'm going to go with the very first one. Believing in yourself and game is the only way to make it as a professional overseas basketball player. The only way to make it in this game is you got to believe in yourself. Believe, 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 believe. I just I've been dropped my book. If you guys haven't picked up my book, it's the first chapter in the book is called Belief. You got to believe in yourself. That is a very, very intricate, must-have aspect of playing basketball overseas. You got to believe that you can do it. Just like anything in life, and it's so cliche at times, and most time we just, whatever, like, yeah, I know I need to believe in myself, but it goes back to you determining to transform yourself, changing your mindset. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, so you can understand the type of person that you need to become to believe in yourself. Goes back into you turning into you and you changing yourself to become the person to have the things that you want out of this life. To become the type of basketball player that has the belief to believe that he can play or she can play anywhere on this planet and survive, thrive, and get the most out of their experience. Doubt kills every aspect of everything in our lives, and especially as a hooper, because you know the game is so up and down all the time. And it's so cutthroat out here in this world, it can really shake your confidence and have you, before you even step out, like before you even get out there, you think, okay, you need to believe that you can get there. When you get there, you're going to have to do it even more. You're going to have to believe even more when you're playing overseas basketball, because you're going to have days where people are looking at you crazy, like, yo, and you're going to get cut. And they're going to not play, like, you're not going to find a job for a while. You're going to start to doubt yourself, and you're going to have bad games. And you know you're on the hot seat. That will get you to doubt yourself. You get cut back to back. You start really questioning, is this life really for me? It is tough. So that belief factor has to be strong. But like I say, with mentality, it's all about how do we develop the mentality to believe in ourselves when things get rough, when things are going south, as they will. Things will go south, down, as they will. But if we're constantly working on developing our mentality to become a strong-minded person, belief-driven, so much of that has to do with what we listen to, what we consume on our social media, the people we talk to on a daily basis. If you talk daily, just our normal interactions cannot be with the people. The people that we hold closest to us cannot be the people that's not allowing us to get to the next level in life or believing in what we are believing in. There's too much doubt. It's too much hate. It's too much things that's already pushing you back. So you got to have the utmost belief in yourself. Part of that is keeping the people you around, the things you watch, the things you're listening to. Belief. Make sure you got to believe in yourselves. 2, what I wish I knew about overseas basketball, part 2. Not every teammate, coach, or owner wants the best for you. Ooh, that is a big one. That is crazy. I literally just got off the phone, like I said, with my boy Deuce from Tap Athletics. Once again, y'all tap in with him, follow him. Tap Athletics 22. Check him out. Follow him on YouTube and all platforms, TikTok. Just got off the phone with him, and he was talking about he just got done with his situation, and he was just blown because he'd been with his team for like 3 years, and he's led the league over there in the BBL in the in the BBL in England. He's led the league in scoring, not in scoring, in field goal percentage for like 4 straight years. He's always been the best. He's got unbelievable touch around the basket. That's his game. Tap Athletics is short for the ancient art of posting up. He's a post player, 6'7", with the craziest touch around the basket. He's got post game. That's what he do. So he's been with the team for all these times, and they had their like parting way meeting. Now he's been with this team, always been productive, always been one of the best players, top 5, best field goal percentage, records, so many attributes, so many accomplishments, and they just, hey, we're done with you. And we're going to make sure that you can't work in this country after you're done, because we know that you got another business that you're doing where you're trying to coach kids and do stuff like that. But since you're not with us anymore, we're going to need the car back that we let you use, even though you've been with us for so long. We're going to make sure you can't use this car within the next day or so. And if you try making some extra money by doing your own thing and working on your own self, we might report you. And I've been with y'all for 4 years, consistently working for y'all. They don't always want the best for you. The only reason I told his story because I know he's done with them, and thank God that he's done with them. It just goes to show you exactly what most players or most teams and coaches, if y'all been watching, I already went in on the players, the envious players. They don't want to see you shine. They don't want to see you doing better than them. They feel like you're taking money out of my pocket by you being too good. I'm sorry I put in extra work. I'm sorry I wanted more than you. I'm sorry that I'm willing to do that more work to make me get the #1 field goal percentage in the history of the league, or lead the league in field goal percentage for 4 or 5 straight years. That takes work. Sorry you don't want to put the work in and you're upset at me. That is a common theme when it comes to players, coaches, owners. When you're done, when I'm done with you, I'm done with you. But like the 4 agreements, the law of the 4 agreements, what's it? The book we read that I like to quote a lot, the 4 agreements. Don't take it personal. That's what I told him. You just can't take it personal. That's what it is. Just like in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the rich make the rules. You got to get to a point where you make your own rules, where you don't have to worry about what nobody feel or treat you in this life. You got to make the rules. Can't worry about somebody else not wanting the best for you. You got to do what you got to do for yourself to get where you want out of this life for yourself. That's going to take work and grind. It's called growing pains. It's going to suck. People going to do you dirty. They don't want to see the best for you. You're doing too good. You got that fire in you. You got that drive in you to be something great. You got that drive in you to be something great. And I see it. And I know I don't got that. I don't like that. I don't like that you shining too bright on me like that. That light's too bright. You trying to better yourself? You think you're better than me, huh? That's how people really believe. You think you're better than me. You think that you're going to come out here and go for your dreams and try to make a change against me and what I've got. I'm comfortable here. You're trying to mess up my comfortability and what I got going on right here. And I'm not having it. Be like that sometimes, man. Don't think that they out here for you. Do everything you can for yourself to put yourself in the position for you to win, because no one's going to want to see you win more than you. So you have to make sure that you're doing everything that you can to put yourself in the best position of winning. What I wish I knew about overseas basketball, part 3. Sometimes the team offering the most money isn't always the best situation. Don't let money blind you. Ooh! Ooh! It's almost happened to me. All right, I'll give y'all a quick story. So I'm in Colombia, right? Second year in Colombia, played decent my first year as a rookie. Made a name for myself in the league as a good player. I didn't think I played well because of my concept of what playing well meant and numbers wise. But apparently I played well enough to get it offered by another team the next year. So I got offered by this other team the next year, right? And it was a team that I actually wanted to go to. So it's kind of, you know, all that manifestation and believing and really putting your effort towards it. That stuff is real. So make sure that you keep your head straight on and say that, hey, I want this and I want to get this. Just stay locked in on that. Because I wanted to go to that team. And I say, man, I just want to play for that team. By the next season, I was hooping with that team, man. So if you believe in something, don't be afraid to speak it out there. Write that joint down. Write it down. Make it plain. Be true that that joint going to happen. If you write that joint down, it's going to happen for you. So I was with the team, right? I was playing with the team. Won them a championship. It was dope. It was dope. I got to the team. I became MVP, finals MVP. We won a championship. They ain't won a championship in like 10 years. It was dope. It was dope. I had a great time with the team. I played so well, the team next year, the team that I beat in the playoffs offered me a job. Now, since I played so well with this group of team and brung them and did all this, and I won all these MVPs, this team offered me before the season was over with, hey, we want you to come. Gave me a good deal. They were the first one that was ready. Hey, before anybody offer you, we're going to offer you now. Bet. About 2 weeks later, another team in the league offered me like $1,000 more money. So I was like, ooh, they finna give me even more than what this other team and what I was just making on this team. It's like double that. It was like 2.5 times more what I was making on this team to go to this team, and they're gonna give me, and the other team offering me about 3 times as much. But I looked at the two teams. I looked at who was coming. I knew the owner. I looked at the personality, and I looked at the effort of the team that wanted me to come to their squad. I looked at how they decided, I'm not going to wait for you. I'm going to come and get you right now because you're so good. We're going to come and get you right now. And I took that into consideration. I spoke with the GM. I spoke with them. I looked, the agent found me the deal. I asked for certain things. They gave it to me. So I looked at the effort of what they were doing to obtain me other than the other team just offering me money. And I didn't take that job strictly for money basis. I wasn't out here chasing the paper. And in doing so, I probably had one of my best seasons of my career because that year we broke the record for the most wins in a season in that country. It was like 34-2. I averaged 30-10 in the finals. And that wouldn't have happened if I would have went to that other team. I'm not saying that it's not going to happen, but the team that we had there was probably one of the most dominant teams I've ever played on in my life. Overseas, doesn't matter. That team was probably one of those. It was just everything clicked at the right time. Everybody was just in the right state of mind coming into it. It was a bunch of guys. Everybody at the time was probably like 26, 27 into their 30s. So the mindset of I'm just these young guys trying to come out here and get mine, that wasn't there. The guy leading the helm was our point guard, Horace Wormley. Shout out to Horace. I seen that he's a pastor, marrying people now, man. Salute. Definitely one of my OGs. Definitely taught me a whole lot. Definitely believed into my game. Still one of the best point guards I've ever played with in my entire life. Definitely showed me the ropes. Gave me a lot of gems. And if I would have went to the other team, I wouldn't have had that experience because I was paper chasing. Don't just out here choose the money, just looking for the money to get you to wherever you want to go in life. If a situation ain't right, because I'm telling you, championship meant more than the extra. The money wouldn't add up compared to the experience that I had in the wins that we obtained, and just the history that we made. And all the things that happened that couldn't have happened if I just took, I don't know, what was it, $1,000 more a month. That is forever cemented. That's legendary. What are you writing your story for? Is it chasing that money? That money, I blew through all that money anyway, so that wouldn't have been left with nothing. That team didn't even make it to the playoffs. So I definitely wouldn't have got all the money's worth that I would have. Take these things into consideration. Not every team that's throwing you the most money is the best situation. Have you a concrete plan of how you attack this game? Gotta have you a concrete plan of how you attack this game, and don't let nothing outside sources come and dictate that. Because once you hot, once you in your stride and you hooping and you doing good things, people gonna start coming. They're coming, throwing you offers. I got this, I got that. I got this. Don't fall victim to that. Just start getting random job offers. Hey, man, I'll give you $15K to come over here. You can't even find the league on Eurobasket. Be careful. Be careful. Don't be out here bag chasing for the wrong bag in the wrong situation just because you're trying to get to the money and it's the wrong money. It's more detrimental than it is advancing you in your career. What I wish I knew about overseas basketball, part 4. If money is the only reason you are playing, you won't last long. As I was just saying, it's crazy that I followed up with that, because if money is the only reason that you're playing, you're not going to last long in this game. Gotta have something that's, boy, that's so deep. That just hit me even harder than I just realized. Because yes, it's a love and a passion, but the money, boy, up until this point, for all the nonsense that you got, if you think that I'm just gonna come out here and make all this money playing, it ain't gonna be. If money is the only reason, it's not gonna allow you to get through 2 years. I don't think you will last 2 years. If money is the only reason you're playing this game, overseas basketball, you're not going to last more than 2 years. That's just an opinion of mine. You take it how you want to. I've seen it so many times. Because oftentimes in the beginning, for most players, the money don't add up quick enough. It does not add up quick enough. And if you're trying to get to a certain point and you think that you're going to get it off the jump by just having you a decent season and a decent game, it doesn't happen like that. It doesn't happen like that. Sometimes we see certain guys get to a certain point fast and be like, I'm better than him. I know I should be. Like I told the young guy from the last episode I just did, the 2 guys I did an interview with. Shout out to D. Lowry, playing in Chile right now. Young guy. We just did an interview, our last interview. Go check that one out. And episode 53. And he said, I just got to get to the money. I said, trust your journey, bro. Trust your journey. This game is more about than just the money that you're earning at the time. Trust your journey, bro. It was meant for you. It's going to happen for you. You just got to trust your journey. You got to know that it's more than that. More than just the check that's coming in. You got to get more out of that than this, bro. Because if it's just about this check that you're trying to get every month, you're gonna find out there's better checks at the crib. Go get you a cubicle. If that's all you want is the bread, you go. If you're looking for the money, don't let this be your first option. If you're looking to try to run up a bag real quick, overseas basketball is not your first option. The benefits that you can to making a life overseas and the understanding the experiences that you're going to have. If you're trying to experience life and create a different culture for yourself and just bring something back, learning how to network and deal with other cultures and learning how to extract from other cultures different things that's going to help you advance your life, building different types of relationships. If that's your mindset going into this, then you will have a very, very successful basketball career. Very, very successful because you're learning the adaptation of what it takes to be a pro. You're understanding that the more networking I can be, and what's bigger networking than actually being. Now that I've been in Argentina, I have a connection here. Now I have a connection with a different part of the world that if I have any ventures that something might come, you got to look for opportunities in all facets of life. Now I just created a different home for myself. If you start thinking in that way, hey, maybe I don't want to live in America. Where else can I go? Well, I went to this country over here in Europe, or I was over here in Scotland or something like that, and it was their economics is like this, and I had a guy, we talked business over here, and I know if I take the money that I earn here and I go over here and start this, it's just opportunity. If you start looking at it like that, as man, this is a great way to not only play the game I love, get paid for it, but create opportunities for myself with the connections and the relationships that I can build. Now, that's the mindset that you got to start having when you start doing this. Don't let the money be the only driving force, because it ain't going to get you far. It ain't going to get you far. I'm going to do one more. Before we get on up out of here. Having a mentor before I started playing would have saved me a lot of time and money. Shout out to my mentor right now. She is my business mentor, Diane McKeever. Shout out to you, Diane. I love you to death. Can't wait to see you up and running again. That's a joke between us. But just having someone that can give you guidance. That's it. Like I say, if it's your first time or you haven't heard me express this before, the whole reason I even do this whole platform is because I just want to be that mentor to whoever comes into the game and wants to just understand what it's really like to just live this life and just go through the ups and downs and discouragements, and having someone that can just give you tips and guide you down the right direction. I'm just trying to be that mentor for whoever needed in this game. Who's the mentor that we can go to and say, hey man, I can just tune in and bro gonna let me know something that I'm going through, because what's bigger than a group? That's why they have AA meetings, for people to be in the same group who going through the same thing. Boy, that's the same thing with this. You got to have your AA meeting where you tune in to somebody who's talking the same thing that you know the life. You're just trying to make it. You're just trying to be successful. You're trying to live out your dream. You're trying to make sure your finances is right. You're trying to make sure your family is right. And you need somebody to just be like, hey, man, what should I do next? What situation? Oh, I've been in that situation. Oh, this is what I should have done. I should have attacked it this way. Oh, maybe I should get me a plan and start really strategically figuring out which step to take next when it comes to playing basketball. These are the things that I got to start tuning into and listening more, because this pertains to my life. We could go and listen to all the basketball podcasts about all the people that's in the NBA. That don't pertain to you. You don't play in the NBA. You don't live this life. You're not going through the same thing that they're going to. going through until they go overseas. Like the Drew Bledsoe situation when they're in China and they team throwing games and you're on that team and your whole league getting shut down because guys out here betting on games and throwing games. Yeah. You got to go through these types of stuff, and it's better to listen to it from the people that's going through the same thing so you can relate, avoid, and transition from these same type of situations. That's why a mentor is so important. A mentor is a hack to life. Somebody has been there, done that, and going to tell me what to avoid before I even get out here. Wouldn't you like to know about the snake in the grass before you walk in the grass and you don't get bit and then you fall in the hole because they didn't tell you about the hole, and then the booby trap, and then a brick fall on your head or anvil just like in the cartoons because you tripped the wire? Or somebody could tell you, hey bro, you might want to just go around here and do this thing right here so you can avoid all that. I would love that. I would have loved to have someone like that. I maybe had one or two guys that gave me a little bit of game, but that's it. The game ain't being distributed out here. People ain't just out here telling you what you need to know before you get out there. Ain't gonna be real with you and tell you, listen, man, 7-8 years of this game, I struggled. I had my friend on here, Akeem Scott. I gotta get another interview with him. Me and him chopped it up. One of the earlier episodes, I think it was like episode 7 or one of the earliest episodes. It's called like Time Doesn't Exist with Akeem Scott. Bro's going into his 19th season. And he explains, he's like, you would think after 10 years of doing this, I would be straight and I understand and I know where to go to in the markets and the things to touch on and these types of situations. But I'm looking at my account and I got under $1,000 in my account with a wife and a kid, and I'm 10 years in the game. You don't hear those stories about people that's like, bro, that can happen. That happens. Because you don't avoid the wrong things. You don't avoid the things that get you into these situations. That's why, as I spoke earlier before, it's about becoming the person. We have to become more of the person mentally. That means mentally strengthening our minds with our finances. That means mentally strengthening our minds with becoming the person that could be an overseas basketball player, bro. You have to get your mind right before you do anything in this life. You got to get your mind right. If you don't determine I'm going to become the person first before I decide to go and take on this life, it's over for you. It's curtains. It's a wrap. You're done for. It's over with for you. Become the person first. Find a mentor. If you ain't got one, tune in. I'm dropping gems every single day for y'all. Type in, like they always say, that's the slang. Tap in with me. You feel me? Tap in with me. I got you. Tap in with me. I'm going to give you everything that I learned, at least so you could avoid a lot of things that I've avoided, at least, because I've been through so much craziness, man. Let's get our mind right. Let's focus on how we can get our mind right and, and just enjoy everything that is being blessed to us. That's all I got, man, for this episode. If you guys can leave me a comment, a rating, let me know how I'm doing. I really appreciate it. Share this with somebody. Make sure you guys go pick up my book. It's in my bio and my Instagram, on the YouTube, and the link in the description. Make sure y'all pick up that book. Give it to somebody. Share it with somebody. Just the 6 must-have traits to become an overseas basketballer. Just the 6 main. This is how you start changing and turning yourself into the person. Getting the information that's going to turn you into the person so you can do the things to have everything you want out of this life, out of this game, to have fun, to maximize. This is one of the steps to becoming the person to get the things you want out of life, man. That's all I got, man. I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in to this segment and this episode of the Arnold Stars podcast. I am out of here. Hey guys, thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe on our YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and wherever you listen to your podcast. I greatly appreciate it.